The thing that's tricky about this whole show is the fact that, as opposed to most operas, which have lights, this show has no lights in the show. The show is all completely lit by the projection. The performers stand right in front of a giant white wall, and the light that's coming from the projection is what actually lights the singers. There is a computer that has all the media, which is all the different images on it, and it's basically just a high-end computer with a very fast graphics card. So in order to interface with that computer, we have this thing called a Grand MA, which is, it's more or less, it's basically a lighting console, but it's very adaptable and changeable. So that a lighting console talks to the computer and tells it when to send this picture up on stage. So like your Butterfly or Bohème, 60 cues, a Götterdämmerung might have 100 cues. This show has over 700 different looks on stage. So Rachel Tobias, the stage manager, she can't even look at the stage.
Because you're calling things on the offbeats, you're calling things on the fermatas, you're calling things on the ornaments. It's really that I'm counting all the time because there's always those beats, because then also if you're an eighth note off or a quarter note off, it does affect the performance. So just having to be right on 736 times, it's been challenging.
It's very, very challenging. There's also, because I said that there's so many cues in the show, one of the things that we have is we have the button that says go, that makes the projectors go. Well, we have a bigger button that's maybe about this big, and it actually makes a loud audible click. One of the reasons we do that is Rachel can't look up, but she needs to know that the cue that she calls has happened. So she sits right next to the guy who's pushing the go button, and every time he hits go, she can hear the click. So she has that audio of the click happening. And we also have a little light with a red light on it next to it. So every time he hits go, the sound will click and that red light will flash. So on her peripheral vision, she can see a red light flash. So she knows that the cue happened. Normally the stage manager will look at the stage, make sure everything's going on. She has to stare at the score the entire time, and she says go, 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 go. It has more cues than a Broadway musical will have in it.
There are two passages that come to mind that they're hardest. One of them is the very first recit section. We call it the text B. And on those 2 pages of music, I think there's about 26 cues, and the music's only like 1 minute and 15 seconds. So it's just in rapid succession, but they're not all musical. A lot of them are based on what the singers are doing on stage as well. So it's like I have to constantly be looking up, and if somebody is like kicking a spider out of the way, it's like I need to execute the cue right there, and then a second later I need to be able to find my place in the music to be able to call something else. The other one that's really hard is the Queen of the Night. So just as hard as it is for her to sing it, it's equally as hard for me to be cueing both of your arias. It's not your grandma's flute. This is totally different. This is a very different flute.